Hi, everybody. Welcome into today's show here on JTV. It is Monday. Thank you to the Insurance Circle agency, myinsuranccircle.com. It's Adam. I'm David Rice. Thanks for watching or listening today. Today might be the only good day out of the week besides Friday where it's not going to rain and we won't have everything canceled again. Hopefully we don't anyways. But a lot of more weather expected this week. So, schools' athletic pages say this a lot, but spring is the worst season of the year as far as cancellations.
Oh, I thought you were just going to say just in general. I was going to say spring's nice, but for cancellations, it's bad.
Well, other than winter, if winter wasn't a thing, spring would be the worst, yeah. But schools' athletic pages on Facebook and schools' websites, mhsa.com, for your school's cancellations. And, of course, scores every day on the Center for Family Health scoreboard. Record-setting and milestone nights for Northwest Mounties softball last week. On Friday, they split the doubleheader, 1-1 against Clinton. But Toledo commits senior Ava Golightly 200th run of her career on the night. That placed her in the MHSA all-time top 50 for career runs scored. So congratulations to her. And Lucy Bivens, senior pitcher, 7th win of the season. Freshman Shannon Christner, first career home run. So the Mounties are now 8-3 overall on the season. So history continuing for a couple of the Northwest softball players. So congratulations to them. Still have one undefeated softball team in the area. Columbia Central 12-0. Take on Vandercook today, doubleheader, and then Northwest tomorrow. So Tuesday, back-to-back doubleheader days. Grass Lake softball 14-2. And Grass Lake baseball 11-1. Hanover softball 15-2. Lumen baseball 13-2 on the year. So, and then Springport baseball and softball doing good too. Softball 11-3 and baseball 10-1. So a lot of several of our baseball and softball teams having great starts to the year so far. With this Friday being May 1st. No, Thursday. Thursday's May 1st. Already getting to the last month of the season coming up, starting officially on Thursday. So, also, Jackson College, Spring Arbor, quick baseball update. JC now 20-20 on the season. They're 500. They lost both games in their doubleheader Saturday. Now 4 losses in their last 5 games. Spring Arbor now 27-23. They won 15-4 in Game 2 of their doubleheader this past Saturday after losing 5 in a row before that. So Spring Arbor 4 games above 500 and JC at the 500 mark. And as long as it doesn't rain Thursday like it's supposed to, we will be live at Jackson College starting at 1:45 on Thursday afternoon, me and Max Fritz, as they take on Macomb Community College. So looking forward to that. That will be JC's last home game before they have 2 on the road this next Saturday to wrap up the regular season. So JC really needing the win. They've lost 4 of their last 5. They lost both in Saturday's doubleheader. They're 500 on the season. We know the offense is there, right? We've seen that.
Yeah,
the bats are there. It's just, they're also who they're playing against, at least when we're there.
I was going to say, we're undefeated, man. We're still undefeated.
Right. We know they can score. We know they bat well, but it's tough competition because at this level of baseball, it can always be high scoring too. So you're always going to expect offense from their opponents as well. So JC 500 on the year, and we'll see what their record is after both games on Thursday. So again, for all the high school, college athletics, subscribe to JTV Sports and check out the Center for Family Health scoreboard every day at JTV.com. JTV. And online right now on our website, too, the Jackson Amateur Golf Tour just kicked off their tour schedule. Spring Thaw happened over the weekend, so we've got results from that on our website as well. So, and a lot of good girls soccer in the region as well. And from last week, thanks to JTV's Noah Baker, we've got some girls soccer highlights to show you. And when we come back, after girls soccer highlights, we'll take a break. But when we come back, we've got more highlights to show you. We even went to lacrosse.
That's different.
Yeah.
Different.
But no, it's a cool sport.
Yeah, no, that's something that we don't typically cover, so I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the first or second for Jackson United lacrosse. So when we come back after soccer highlights, we'll have lacrosse highlights. The Pistons should be tied 2-2. They really should be. Even the officials said right after the game, which is always what I don't understand.
Yeah, that's screwed
they
up.
always say after the game, yeah, we screwed up, we're sorry.
Yeah, that's screwed up, man. But they probably get their wish. They want...
Well, how come you couldn't completely point it out? It was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Right when it happened.
Not to be all conspiracy theorists, but I bet you they do want New York in the next round.
Of course. Well, you know they do.
Yeah.
It's the New York market.
Right.
That's what it is. But the Lakers are down 3-1.
Crazy. Did not think so. I thought they were going to win this series.
And Golden State is up 2-1 too. So that game 4 is tonight, Monday, 10 o'clock. So after soccer highlights, NBA playoffs, lacrosse highlights, Shadur Sanders got a prank call over the weekend.
We're going to have to talk about this. That is screwed up. We're going to have to talk about this.
Shout out to the frat boys at Ole Miss for that. By the way, Cleveland drafted 2 quarterbacks. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, and what, they have 5 on their roster right now?
5 or 6.
Yeah, because they traded for Kenny Pickett in the offseason. So,
yep.
Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett.
Yep, and NHL playoffs. All the announcers for TNT and TBS are remote, and their production has been
weird.
awful.
That's weird. Why are they remote? Why aren't they there?
Well, I'll tell you why later in the show.
All right, I can't wait.
But before we do that, girls soccer highlights from JTV Sports. We'll be right back. More of the show after that, so stay with us. Welcome back on JTV. Thank you to Pataki Orthodontics. A great smile, always in style. Can never go wrong, right? Having a good smile. That's first impression.
That's right. Yes, sir.
So thank you to them, PatakiOrtho.com. Again, thanks to the Insurance Circle Agency and Minuteman Sewer and Drain for helping us bring you all of our sports coverage on JTV. And shout out to Southern Michigan Bank and Trust. Also, the Monday Mornings podcast, they sponsor that. I was told I have to promote their show. So Monday Mornings podcast, available at jtv.tv. And Southern Michigan Bank and Trust this Thursday, May 1st, the official open house and ribbon cutting of the new Horton Weatherwax branch.
Oh, nice.
So they're cutting the ribbon at noon.
Oh, perfect. And yeah, and the Monday Mornings podcast is Daniel Martin is the most recent one on there. We had him in here, and it's a pretty darn good show.
Yeah. High school lacrosse. Well, let's do NBA playoffs before lacrosse. How about that?
Oh, he wants to get
we get a
into
lot
it. He
of the
wants to get
NBA
into it.
playoffs. We will get to lacrosse. Don't worry. I know a lot of people are eager to see that. So, NBA playoffs. Pistons down 3-1. Controversial ending on the no call. Cade missed the pull up mid range. Tobias Harris got the rebound. By the way, I thought he was fouled when he was fighting for the rebound too.
Yeah, I think they really, really messed everything up there. We were.
I would say so.
You were watching that when I was heading out to miss the ending because I was heading out to Spring Arbor to do the award show, and saw your text and I was like, "Oh, that's not good." And then I got the notification from ESPN that we lost by 1, and I was just like, "How did that happen?" So watched it once I got there. I was not pleased.
Yeah. And then Tim Hardaway pump fake clearly got fouled. Announcers said it right away. And right after the game, this is what I don't get. David Guthrie, the official, said, yeah, we screwed up. Clearly there was contact. We apologize. There's 2 officials, if you go back and watch, at least one, maybe 2, but there's one on the baseline looking at the guy with the ball and the defender, and then there's another one underneath the basket. There's 2 people right there looking at it from 2 different angles. How do you miss that? Also, like you mentioned before the break, they want New York in the next round. Not just because it's Detroit versus everybody, because, I mean, it is really. But it's New York, it's the Knicks, it's a big market. The New Yorks haven't done poop since...
That's one way to put it.
Well, I wanted to say worse because
okay.
that's how bad their franchise has been. But they haven't done anything since they haven't won a title in 50 years.
I was going to say since Walt Frazier. It's the last time they won a title, I believe.
Yep. It's New York. It's the big market media pressure. They want the Knicks. Plus, the Knicks bring the league more money. Regardless if they're ever good or not, it brings the league more money in ticket sales and TV money for people watching than the Pistons do.
Yeah, that being said, I'm not saying this is a conspiracy that's the reason that happened. But
no,
it just
I
doesn't
think
look
it's more
good.
than a conspiracy.
Oh,
it's
okay.
flat out.
All
It's
right.
true.
I just think it doesn't look good with those accusations and then some sort
No,
of
and it doesn't
no-call
look
happens.
good, but that's how the NBA's always been with certain teams at certain points in times of history, and it's right there for everybody to see.
Yeah, you hope they're better than that but...
Well, they never will be. You look at 2003, the draft lottery, who ended up getting the number 1 pick for LeBron, the hometown team.
They were also still the worst team.
Right, but it's a lottery.
Right.
Also, Patrick Ewing, when he got drafted by the Knicks, the video's out there of the draft lottery, the envelope.
I was going to say, that'd be a fun conversation to get into sometime, is like all the conspiracies about that specific draft, about the frozen envelope. Have you ever heard that? Where it was like frozen? There's a lot of good things about that.
One bent corner.
Yep, the bent corner.
And that's the one he had to pick up for the Knicks.
That's so
and there's a
funny.
video I watched years ago, but it takes a deep dive into like, well, the Knicks, one of their owners is so-and-so who's affiliated with so-and-so.
Yeah, that
who's
was
affiliated with this company.
I think that was
and
like an SB Nation video. That was a good video. I remember that.
Yeah. But my point is that there's certain markets and there's certain teams that they are always, regardless, they could be as bad as the Charlotte Bobcats were, and they would still want the Knicks on more of an audience, and they will make more money than the Pistons.
I was going to say the biggest one that I know of would be the Lakers in, what would that have been, 01 maybe? I can't remember
The
what year
three-peat?
exactly. But, well, it was the one where it was them against the Sacramento Kings, and the Sacramento Kings got screwed. And then it was going to be, if the Kings would have
And
won,
that
it would have
was
been
the
Kings and Nets.
And that was the official that ended up getting
That was Donahue. Yeah.
Donahue,
Donahue,
Donna
whatever his name was.
something
Yeah.
that got in trouble.
Yeah.
So,
With the betting scandal and all that. Yeah.
but that's my point, is that certain markets and certain teams will always get, they'll always be favored officiating, TV, etc., just because of where their city is, like the Lakers and like the Celtics. The Lakers, even now, if they had LeBron or Kobe, like the year Kobe was with like Smush Parker, and they should have only won 8 or 9 games, but they would have only won 7 or 8 if Kobe wasn't on that team.
You're averaging 35 or whatever he did.
Right. Even if Kobe wasn't on that team, it's still the Lakers, it's still Hollywood, it's still LA. So half their games are still going to be on TV. That's just the way it is. I don't like it. Most people don't like it, obviously. But the NBA wants the New York Knicks to go as far as possible. So
I'll say they might want that, but I don't know if there's a conspiracy with all of this. I mean, we'll see, but I guess maybe we won't.
I guess technically it is a conspiracy, but I've always felt like it's right there in front of everybody. Some people just are dumb and just don't know.
But then on that level, do you then say kind of every sports organization is like that, or do you think this is just solely NBA because NFL gets accused of that and other leagues get accused of it? But I feel like, obviously there's proof that the similar thing had happened in NBA.
No, I think NBA, obviously, NFL, there's a handful of teams who always get that attention. The NFL always wants that attention on them, whether they're good or not, or whether they're maybe even good enough to win a series or a playoff game. NFL, New York, Giants, Jets, the Cowboys. Those are the big 3.
Yeah, but it's funny because it's not even like the Cowboys do well or win, really.
That's what I mean. That goes back to my point earlier. They could suck.
Right. I mean, Cowboys are historically bad. At least the Knicks are a pretty decent team, and it's just these like end of the game decisions that either things that don't get called or just like in what was it, game 3? It was the first game in Detroit. Like we had a chance to do something. I know there wasn't much time left on the clock, but there was like 0.8 seconds left. But like Duran just like lobbed a pass out of bounds, and that was the end of the game. So it's like, some of these end of game things that are happening to us just suck.
The Lakers are down 3-1 to the Timberwolves, and the Bucks are now down 3-1 with no Damian Lillard. He just tried to come back from the blood clot, and now Achilles.
Well, I think
and he's
Indy's
older. He's a veteran. People forget he's 34.
Is he really mid-30s? Wow.
Yeah. So, at that age, you get that kind of injury. You never know.
Yeah.
Number one, if you even come back, he probably will, I would imagine, but. Number 2, if he does come back, is he going to be the same? Kevin Durant wasn't the same after that. His career basically was started the back 9, more like the back 4 or 5, but the back 9 when he got hurt in the finals at Toronto. That was it. He hasn't been the same since then. And now he's played his last game for the Phoenix Suns. He will be traded this offseason.
Probably, I assume so.
And the Rockets down 2-1 to Golden State. Golden State's another NBA team right now that the league wants at the forefront.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's been like that for a while. You have one.
And even though the Lakers are down 3-1, I bet you these next couple of games, they're the league, and they're gonna really be. There's certain people really gonna be pushing for LA. They really want that LeBron Curry playoff matchup.
You are going full conspiracy theory mode right now.
Well, it's right in front of people, and people just don't see it. It's not really that prevalent in baseball. I right at this moment.
Right. I mean, you can always argue that the Dodgers and the Yankees are always the 2 teams that are favored.
Well, besides the Dodgers and the Yankees.
Well, yeah, but I mean, those are the 2 teams those are your Knicks and Lakers,
Yeah.
One thing. Did you see the finish in that Denver Clippers game where Aaron Gordon did the dunk, like with
Yes.
like 0.1 seconds left?
Watching it live, I was like, absolutely not. Didn't have the time. And slowly, frame by frame,
was pretty
going by
sick.
it and just got it.
Dude, hey, it should have been a dunk champion, but hopefully that was a nice
Two-time dunk
yeah,
champion.
hopefully that was a nice little consolation gift for him to do that.
Really?
Well, hopefully it was. I mean, he'd probably tell you that a buzzer beater in a playoff game is better than winning the dunk championship.
right.
You know,
He still got robbed.
100%. I thought he won both
Twice.
of those. Yeah, I thought he won both of those.
When we come back, NFL draft, Shadur Sanders, who at one point was going to be their number 1 or top 5 or top 10 pick, gets drafted in the 5th round in Shiloh. Got picked up as an undrafted free agent.
Oh, did he? Oh, you'll have to tell me where when we get to it. And I have a funny picture to share for that Shadur thing. Just something that I sent to my buddies when he finally did get picked. I was at the Tigers game when he got picked. And there's a little murmur around the crowd when that information came into everybody's phones.
Shadur got prank called.
Oh, this
Shiloh
is so
was
screwed up.
streaming on Twitch the whole time throughout the draft.
Oh, this
so
is
he
so
went the
screwed up.
whole draft, didn't get picked.
And that sucked. And that's where the video came from. I was wondering where that video came from. Did they actually get
of the prank call?
No, of him answering the call and talking on the phone. I saw Brandon show me video of that, and I was like,
Yeah, it wasn't from the Twitch.
Oh, that
It
wasn't
was
from that. Might have been
another-
something different.
Yeah. There's somebody from the frat that took the video.
Frat.
Yeah, those were the kids who called.
Oh, I have information. I have who it actually was.
No, I know who it is.
It wasn't a frat, from what I read. I read it was the Falcons' sons.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in a frat. Oh, I wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking
He was with
old.
buddies from.
I wasn't thinking he was old. I thought he was like a high school age student or younger. I didn't realize that he was like a college student. Oh,
Yeah.
he should have known better. I thought it was just like high schoolers screwed around. You're in college. Come on, what are you doing?
And later in the show, hockey playoffs and the Tigers' 10-game road trip starts tonight at Houston.
Yep, Flaherty on the mound.
So, but before that, high school lacrosse highlights. Jackson United versus Chelsea from last week. Photos from lacrosse a few weeks ago are on our website too, jtv.tv. But thanks to JTV's Noah Baker behind the camera. Here's some high school lacrosse playoffs from JTV Sports. So we've got NFL draft when we come back after that. Welcome back here on JTV. So the NFL draft over the weekend in Green Bay. Shadur Sanders, of course, who everybody's been talking about. By the way, before we talk about this prank call, did you see the video of Mel Kiper, who's an idiot, by the way, having a meltdown on TV? Him and Reese Davis got into it.
Ugh.
And Reese Davis is usually the host, more moderator-ish. He's not the opinion, the analyst.
What was said?
Well, Mel Kiper said for the last 50 years, people, I think just referring to media people and former players who are now, analysts, that they've been wrong about assessing quarterbacks. Mel Kiper said for the last 50-plus years, these last handful of decades, they've been wrong about assessing quarterbacks and assessing players. Actually, if you go back, Mel Kiper's track record has been awful. Jimmy Clausen, he said he was going to retire in 8 years if he wasn't a good quarterback. Also, he said Johnny Manziel will be one of the best quarterbacks we'll ever see.
I think a lot of people thought that. I want to give my boy Mel.
Also, he said Lamar Jackson needs to switch from quarterback to wide receiver to be able to be successful in the NFL.
Right. I mean, if he was grouping himself in that statement,
so
he was saying all
he's
the media.
He's got his own ego. He doesn't call himself.
So
out
he was
ever.
saying all the media except for him.
But he didn't mention him.
Well, that's what I'm curious. If he's saying like the media, including himself as the problem, I agree, because you look at like who are the two best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and don't you dare say Jordan Love.
No.
Who would you say the two best? Probably Patrick
Lamar
Mahomes,
Jackson.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say Josh Allen and Patrick
Lamar
Mahomes.
Jackson and Josh Allen.
Okay, so it's Patrick Mahomes, and you can pick one of them. We'll say three, so we'll throw Patrick Mahomes in there because we know he is. We know he's the best quarterback in the league. Those three were not highly touted. Those three are not number one. So it's like if you look at the best quarterbacks in the league right now, he's right in that aspect that there's something about this evaluation process that the media as a whole is not doing right. I do agree with that because nobody had those guys being generational talents, and all three of those guys are.
But he was riding high on Sanders the whole time. I mean, everybody was at the start of this draft period. But he's going to be this awesome quarterback. He needs to be number one. Any team who passes on him is making a mistake. Obviously not. He didn't go to pro day. He didn't throw at the combine. He just different people from different franchises that have came out and said how they felt about him after they met with him at each team's pro day. I'm not surprised he didn't go until the 5th round. And if you watch Colorado this year, Colorado was not good. They were bad.
He had good stats,
They were
though.
bad.
He had good stats. Sure.
Other than Travis Hunter on offense, it was a man for himself. That's why.
Sure, but then does that make it more impressive? Because if he really didn't have receivers other than Travis Hunter to throw to, really didn't have a great offensive line, didn't really have a good running back, he had to do stuff. He had to maybe perform a little bit better for them to, and that could be a reason. They gave up a lot of points in all those games, so it wasn't just, if he had a lockdown defense, I think that team would have been a little bit different. I'm not on Shadur's bandwagon, but I think he's a better quarterback than where he was drafted. He's better than that Oregon quarterback that they drafted. You don't think so? Okay, that's crazy. I think he is. I think he's more talented.
No, it's not for sure.
Oh,
no,
I think he is.
Case,
I think
also part of the media hype with him, and he didn't end up getting drafted where everybody thought he was. Again, just because of the fact of his name. If his last name was something different, wouldn't have been drafted at all.
I think if his last name was different and he might have had a different life growing up, he might have been a better quarterback than he is now, and his name probably would be. He could have been number one overall. I think that brought him down, if anything, having that name. I think that now,
and also his dad not helping the case either. I don't want my son to play for this team. I don't want him to play for this team. I don't want him to play for this team, and this team, and that team.
That could have had something to do with it. But I think, sure, it kind of, that name helped him get the attention and get him to this point. But I think that ultimately it's what cost him those positions in the draft. But here's his thing. He's going to have to earn the position anyways. it's not, it's sure it's a loaded quarterback room, but it's not necessarily a talented quarterback room. So he definitely has a shot if he performs well in training camp and stuff to take over at least that number 2, maybe even the number 1, especially if somebody gets hurt or just the pressure. We've always seen it, the pressure with the fans, specifically in Cleveland being like, no, we want our guy to start. So I think he has a shot at it. If not, he's going to go to a different team and he could excel
I wouldn't
there.
listen to the Cleveland fans at all. Clearly, look what they've had. Oh, who fans have wanted to start for them or who ended up starting for them, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, they were kind of right about Baker Mayfield, though. He is good.
Other than Baker Mayfield, Tim Couch, Johnny Manziel.
You think about all those guys again.
On and on and on.
Well, you think about all those guys you just mentioned, highly touted by the media.
Jameis Winston.
People at the time were saying they were like top guys, and
Joe Flacco.
Well, Joe Flacco is okay. He's not terrible, but he's okay.
Not with Cleveland.
Well, he's okay.
The one playoff
year.
I
can't. Yeah, I can't.
Deshaun Watson. Look how that ended up.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was It's just Cleveland's cursed.
So their quarterbacks in their room for Cleveland: Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, and I forget his name. Dorian Skyler.
Oh, he got traded, I think.
Oh, okay. So 5 still.
You just named multiple players there. Dorian Skyler Thompson. Dorian Riley or something.
Riley. Yeah, whatever it
Dorian
is.
Riley Thompson, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he got traded before the draft to someone.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. But I guess I'm gonna be this guy now. But I hope and I think Shedeur Sanders will be a starting quarterback in the next few years. Maybe I'll just be that guy, but
I think the Browns are done with Deshaun Watson. I don't see him playing ever again for the Browns. Even though he got paid all that money, I think everything happening with him, he's not going to be on the field for Cleveland. So he's out of the picture. So naturally, next up, it's either Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett.
Probably Kenny Pickett.
So Kenny Pickett, I think as of right now, is the starter. And then after that, that's where you go, okay, do we have Gabriel and Sanders sit even behind Flacco, who's the backup, to learn from them? Or do we just bench Flacco even though we brought him back? Because they just brought Flacco back.
Yeah.
Or does he start over Kenny Pickett?
He might start over Kenny Pickett. Here's my thing. I think he might start over Kenny Pickett now that I'm thinking about it. Kenny Pickett will be number 2. Shedeur will be 3. And next year, they'll lose Joe Flacco. So then it will be, do we like Kenny Pickett enough? Okay, we'll start him. If we don't, well, Shadeur's been performing really well and, training and stuff like that we're going to maybe give him a shot. I think Joe Flacco's a 1-year thing. I think also the Browns are probably looking towards, we're going to suck this year. General, like, we're going to probably get the number 1 overall pick or top few. I mean, when you look at what they did in the draft, they traded out of that spot where I think a lot of people thought, like, obviously they were going to get maybe Travis Hunter, but some people might have thought, well, maybe they get Shedeur here. They still end up getting him, and they traded out of that pick, and they got tons of picks and still got a good player. I don't know. They might have had a good draft.
Well,
I mean, Mel Kiper gave him an A, I think, an
well,
A+. I know you don't like your boy Mel, but
Mason Graham from Michigan, number 5 to Cleveland. So they got Mason Graham, and they got Gabriel, and they got Sanders. The prank call, the son of the Falcons defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, Jax, that's son's name, and his college buddies were the one who prank called Shedeur off Shedeur Sanders' private phone number for NFL executives only.
Did you hear how they got it?
But real quick, how does even the defensive coordinator for a team, why does he even have the number?
All that stuff. All that. Well, so he got it. The kid got it because he had his iPad open, and it was like maybe like a team iPad or something, and he had it open. He just looked down. He saw that maybe a list of numbers on there, or maybe who knows. That was what the kid said. So he could have actually went through it and found it, but he just said, "Oh, it was an open iPad," and of course that's going to look better, being like it was already open. But who knows? He maybe was able to access it and be able to find it. But I think that's not out of the question that the 2 biggest assistant coaches on the team would have information like that, especially if it was like a team iPad. But it's still ridiculous that something like that happened. But it's on 100% on the kid. I don't put any blame on the organization nor on the coordinator. On how do you pronounce his last name? Olbrich?
Ulbrich.
Ulbrich. Don't know much about him, but yeah, it's not on him. It's 100%. I place the blame on his son. He did a
I don't know why
bonehead
anybody
thing.
wouldn't.
Yeah, he did a real stupid thing. That being said, that is hilarious.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
as soon as I saw it, I died
so
laughing.
screwed up, but it's hilarious that happened. I mean, like I couldn't even barely watch the video because I was like cringing so hard because it's just like, dude, I felt bad for him, but it's like that's a crazy thing that happened.
Hey, your name kept falling down here in the draft, but you know what? Guess where you're going to be taken? Finally. You're going to finally be taken now, son. Congratulations.
This is so screwed up, man.
Oh, wait. Never mind. You went in the 5th round.
See,
I wonder why.
I almost want to say that's another reason I want Shedeur to do well, because he is getting the haters like that, so that almost makes me want him to do well and become a really good quarterback, but also that situation to kind of just be like, all right, I fell. All this stuff happened to me. I'm going to be a stellar quarterback now.
I don't remember if I saved it on my phone, but I saw something from the draft. By the way, ESPN shares a tragedy about every single player,
dude,
every
it's
single
so
pick.
bad. It's so bad.
Oh my God. And this year I felt like I thought was worse.
Yeah, they sure love their story. I mentioned that multiple times to people I was watching the draft with. It's just like, hey, it's like they love their tragic stories.
Yeah. I can't. I didn't save it here, but there was a bunch of quarterbacks that didn't get picked high that, are excellent quarterbacks. So that's, it goes back to your point about, well, okay, so what? Why does it matter if he got, if he didn't get picked 1 or 2 or whatever? I mean, Aaron Rodgers got picked 26.
Tom Brady got
25th.
picked 199th.
Right. Lamar Jackson.
He got 31st, I think, 32nd.
Yeah.
One of those.
Patrick Mahomes was like the 11th or 12th pick.
Josh Allen right around there too. I think maybe 8 or so.
Yep.
When you go to the history of number 1 overall picks, it's not always a guaranteed hit. There's a lot of misses in there. You have your Peyton Mannings occasionally, but then you have a lot of guys that probably don't deserve to be picked there.
Well, you know what I did save on here on my phone though. By the way, Anthony Edwards got fined $50,000. I don't know if you saw
For
that
what?
From the last playoff game, that the one that was in LA, game 3 or 4. He got fined $50K because a fan courtside was yapping at him.
Who is this?
Anthony Edwards.
I don't know why I thought you said Anthony Richardson, because we were in football mode probably. That's why I was confused.
A Lakers fan was chirping
That's
at him
pretty
courtside. So Anthony Edwards said he's like, shut the front door.
He said it like that?
My body part.
Oh,
Not
okay.
body part.
Wow.
He
Okay.
said
Right.
my body part is bigger than yours. And he got
Okay.
fined $50K for that.
What a PG way of saying that.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, that's probably money that he'll make in less than a game, so it's probably not that big of a deal to him. So that's
Right.
probably money well spent for him.
right. But real quick, back to the draft. Colston Loveland, I was surprised, went all the way up number 10th overall by the Bears. He's a really good player, and I like Colston Loveland, obviously. Go blue, but he's not better than Tyler Warren.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
He's not even the best tight end in the draft.
Yeah, we'll see if he turns into something. I think Ben Johnson must have saw something out of him.
Well, Ben Johnson was in Michigan. He was a Lions coach.
Yeah,
so
maybe he just really liked him to hopefully turn him into another Sam Laporta.
yeah, the Bears version of Sam Laporta.
They'll try.
Also, Cam Ward, number 1, of course, the Titans. Jacksonville traded up and got Travis Hunter. Mason Graham from Michigan, number 5 to Cleveland. Jackson Dart, 25th to the Giants.
I couldn't believe it. When I saw it was a trade up, I thought for sure it was Shedeur, and then hearing Jackson Dart, I was like, what?
Yeah. So Jackson Dart to the Giants, who already have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, by the way. So Jackson Dart won't probably, unless if they really suck this year, somebody gets hurt, Jackson Dart won't play this year.
Yeah, unless there's an
because
injury.
Russell Wilson's going to finish his last year or 2 out of his career there.
Yeah.
And then if he doesn't play, Jameis is going to be the backup. That's pretty
I
much
keep
a
forgetting
given.
they have Jameis. Famous
Jameis. Cleveland drafted both Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. Seattle, my brother's team, drafted Jalen Milroe, which I thought was shocking. I laughed
I bet you did.
just because we were both sitting there
Yeah, I
watching
bet
the
you
draft.
did. Yeah.
I laughed at him.
Yeah.
So they drafted Jalen Milroe and they traded Sam Howell because, they have Sam Darnold. So
That's right. They signed him.
Sam Darnold, which I laugh because they have Sam Darnold. Why would they draft Jalen Milroe? They're both still young quarterbacks. Sam Darnold isn't old.
He's like 29, 30.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, they probably really liked him. He was at the top of their board.
Not that he's good, but
I think Darnold.
Drew
I
Lock
think
was
Darnold's okay.
no. Drew Lock
Oh.
is the other quarterback
well,
for
he's
Seattle.
He's not that great.
Right, but they already have two.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jalen Milroe is so.
Yeah, I think he has the potential of doing some things. I'd be curious to see what he looks like in the NFL.
I mean, I think he's better than Sanders, but he's still so.
I think Sanders is a better quarterback than Jalen Milroe. Just saying. Just putting that down. Maybe I'm going to turn into a Shedeur Sanders mark just to root for him.
God, I hope not.
I think I got to now. All right, give me a jersey.
And for the first time since 2002 in the first round, Green Bay did not screw up their draft pick and took a receiver in the first round. Matthew Golden from Texas.
When they were on the clock, I was like, you know what? This would be the year they would draft a receiver just because to get that maximum reaction out of the crowd because everybody's been waiting for that.
Emeka was already taken before. Otherwise, I think we would have taken him.
He was, yeah. And I think he's going to be really good. But, I don't know if Matthew Golden will be good. But I saw that. Did you see what number he's going to be wearing?
No, I didn't.
I think I saw he's going to be wearing the same number as I can't think of his name. The Michigan
Greg Jennings.
No, Michigan Heisman pose.
Desmond Howard.
Desmond Howard. I don't know why I couldn't think of Desmond's name.
21.
Right, I think they were going to say he was going to wear like the same number. Same number as him when he was on the Packers, which I think was 81.
81.
Yes.
Yep.
But you're right. That was his number for Michigan. But I think
Super Bowl MVP for the Packers.
Exactly.
Desmond Howard.
Exactly. That's what I think I heard that that he was going to do. But I think all that information gets released a little bit later.
So we didn't screw it up. I finally had a happy draft weekend because you know what? We went right back to where we were in the second round and took a no-name offensive lineman.
There you go. Back to your ways.
Back to our ways. And by the way, Mark Murphy took 15 minutes to announce the damn draft pick for the Packers. He went on and on. It's great for it to be in Green Bay. It's my last draft here. For the first time since this year, this happened, that happened. Applause, applause, applause.
Yeah, I bet you went crazy when he mentioned like, "Oh, where are my owners at there?" You're probably like, "Oh, yeah, that's me."
I was actually watching live when they made their pick, but all the owners and shareholders, myself included,
I bet you were all excited. Well,
I mean, I technically own two teams. I own the Bears and I own the Packers.
Well, you don't own the North though.
Yeah, until this year.
Okay. So you're making that statement.
We took a couple of years break.
The Packers.
We've been rebounding the last couple of years in Green Bay. So
the Packers. You're saying right now the Packers are winning the North.
Right now on April. What's today? The 28th. On April 28th.
I can't wait to go to this the day after the Lions clinch the North this year. I can't wait to go to this clip. It's gonna be so funny.
Any other draft nuggets there? Anything?
I don't have any draft nuggets, but I have an NFL nugget. What's your opinion on players changing their jerseys after 1 year, changing the jersey number after 1 year? Because Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions, he changed his number. A few other players changed their number after 1 year, 1 or 2 years. I think that's kind of sucks for the fans that have bought their jerseys and now it's the wrong number and it's a clearly outdated jersey. I think that's kind of dumb.
Yeah. I think the only time you change your number or you have a different number from when you come in from college is if that number is already retired. So, Lawrence Taylor already told Abdul Carter, no, you can't have my number.
Yeah, that should be how it is.
But Warren Moon
let
Cam Ward have his number.
I think that's kind of weird. I think, if a number's retired, it should say retired. But, I mean, I understand if Gibbs wanted that number, which I don't remember what number it is, but if he wanted that number and then he couldn't get it, and now a guy left so he can get that number, NFL or the Lions should provide some sort of buyback program or something to where you can get a new jersey at a discounted cost, because those jerseys are realistically they're investments if you buy a legit one. Like the price that they are, it's like you need to have some sort of thing so I'm not paying full price for this jersey.
Well, I think Gibbs can really change it to almost whatever number he wants. I mean, the Lions haven't really been that successful. They don't have that many numbers in the Hall of Fame, so he's got a lot of options.
Yeah, but
there.
just the fact that he's screwing the fans over, because if I bought a rookie Jahmyr Gibbs jersey and then now the number's different,
No, right.
that sucks.
No, I don't think, unless if there's a weird circumstance, which I don't think is rarely ever happen, but I don't think they should be allowed to change their number.
And if they do, they should
Unless
put that
if you go to
program
a
in
different
place.
team.
Yeah.
You get traded or
if they do,
whatever.
they should just put that program in place where the Lions can at least
Program
at least pay for like 50% of the jersey you trade in your old one, you get a new one.
Yeah.
You know.
But I think Colston Loveland, by the way, that'll be okay with the Bears offense. Now that you have Caleb Williams, you have Keenan Allen, you have DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift.
Well, they got weapons.
Colston Loveland.
I think it's interesting.
A decent defense. Yeah, but they had all those weapons last year, and they won how many games?
Yeah, their coach wasn't great. And we'll see what Ben Johnson is.
But that was a first-time head coach, and now this is a first-time head coach.
Yeah, so we don't know, but that's what makes, I think, the Bears a little bit more intriguing, I guess, is that we don't really know what they're doing.
I've never been intrigued or interested, even if the Bears make this many moves. It's going to be the same result like it is every year. So I don't think the Bears win more than 7 games. Another prediction.
Yeah,
really.
I mean that's probably a solid. I bet
they're not even 500.
I will check in the break. I will check and see what the betting sites have their over/under wins are, and then we'll make our prediction over or under that. But I think your number is probably pretty darn close to what Vegas has.
Well, that's usually right around where they finish. 2 to 3 games under 500. So when we come back, NHL playoffs, production was very bad on TV over the weekend.
Yeah, I wasn't watching, so you'll have to tell me about it.
I will tell you when we wrap up the show.
All right.
When we come back here on JTV. Welcome back here on JTV. Before we wrap up and talk about hockey and the Tigers, one thing I forgot to mention with football. The Eagles visited the White House today for their Super Bowl celebration.
Oh, did they?
But what's really making the headlines, I don't know if you've seen anything about this yet, but Saquon Barkley played a round of golf with Trump, and now people are all, you know how people get with celebrities hanging out with Trump or certain athletes. And Barkley came out this morning and made a release or a PR thing. Was like, look, I didn't golf with Trump because just because I like the guy or I voted for him. You're playing golf with the president. He said.
That's what I was
he
gonna say.
even said he's played with Obama before.
Obama?
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like he's playing with him because he likes the guy. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Who cares if he does or doesn't?
It's still cool.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
Did he say anybody's name weird like he did Shohei Ohtani? Did he say anything weird like that?
I haven't seen any videos today, so I don't know.
Oh man, I can't. I gotta see it. I gotta see if he says any funny one-liners.
Ohtani.
And then just to go back to the Bears thing real quick.
Yeah.
Right now Vegas has the over/under for wins at 8.5 wins.
Under.
Well, in the under is minus 141, over is plus 115. So they are encouraging the under on there. Yeah.
Under.
Yeah, I would say under. I mean, what about 7.5 if we did 7.5 over under? Because that's right there. So you thinking they could have 6 wins, 7 or 6 wins?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think that over 8.5 is really good. I'll predict 8. I'll say they get 8 wins on the year.
8 and 9?
Yeah, I'll say it.
All right. Where, if you still have that open, where do they have Green Bay and the Lions at? I know we want to talk hockey here. We're running out of time, but
but I mean, this stuff's fun. So let me look. So the Lions are going to be first on the list. So actually, I have Green Bay right here. Green Bay, take a guess.
10.5.
Yeah, right. 9.5.
What?
9.5. Did I stutter?
Nine,
No, 9.5.
9.5.
Yes.
So over would be 10, 10 and 7. I'll take the over.
And then Lions are 10.5.
I will also take the over.
Oh. Oh, so what do you think is going to be like 14 wins for each or something like that?
No, because one of them has to beat each other twice. So 14 for both
Doesn't
teams
have
is
to.
impossible.
Doesn't have to.
I mean, you could tie
Yeah,
realistically,
yeah.
but
But I mean, you could technically, I mean, if you said over, Packers, this would never happen, but Packers could get like 12 wins and Lions could get 11. You would still both cash those.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, that's not happening. Lions are probably going to get 13 wins.
13 and 4.
Yep. I'm calling it.
That
13 and 4.
sounds realistic.
13 and 4, and they split with Green Bay will be what I predict. They'll sweep the Bears.
I
and
like
the
that.
Vikings.
I like that.
Yeah.
We can agree
Then
on
we all
that.
win. The fans win,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Green Bay finishes 12 and 5.
I'll
11
say,
and 6 or 12 and 5.
I'll say they're probably 5.
At least 11 wins.
I'll say 5 and 12.
Hockey playoffs. All 4 series in the Western Conference are tied at 2 games apiece, and 3 out of the 4 in the East are all 3-1, except for Tampa Bay, Florida. That's a 2-1 series. Oilers late last night, Sunday, won 4-3 in overtime to tie the series with the LA Kings at 2-2.
I'm all in, changing my prediction. Oilers win the whole thing. I'm changing my prediction.
Whoa, you're changing it.
I originally said Colorado, but I said to myself
Wow.
that if Edmonton came back to tie it 2-2, that Edmonton would be now my favorite. So I'm going to go with Sir Charles Barkley and say Edmonton wins it all.
By the way, the production on TNT and TBS
Yeah, you were talking about
was
this. Not good.
not good.
Not good. What happened?
So the most of the games, unless if it was a game or a series deciding game, all announcers for Turner are remote and from the Atlanta studio doing the game. So the Atlanta studio this last week or two has had the NBA guys in studio, NHL announcers and studio crew all in the building last week.
It's interesting.
Oh, and baseball.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about being there that's just it's going to be different. I'd love to hear Austin's take on this. Him being in that world.
The announcers, most of them were remote, there hasn't been a game deciding series deciding game yet. But and the production, the crowd audio. If you go back and watch. I'm sure if you just look up the play, it might be on. Somebody might have it on. But the Canadians Caps game, there was a goal scored, and somebody posted a side by side of the feed from TNT, whatever, and Sportsnet, the Canadian channel, and very stark difference. You can tell it was not done all on site from Turner.
Oh,
you can tell right away.
They need to not do that. They need to fix that.
TNT, they put in however many millions or billions to do hockey, finally, and they don't even send. And that's why you heard some of the same announcers on like the late game one day and then early the next day because
they just stayed there.
They were just in Atlanta.
Studio. Yeah, that's dumb.
Also, I think I can partially understand why, not that it makes it better, but they can't get in a one-day turnaround the whole setup and all the trucks from, let's say, DC to Edmonton.
Yeah.
Or however they do the crewing. So they can't do that either.
Yeah. I'm
and the
not a fan.
feed on TNT during the I forget which game it was, but it completely went out, so TNT had to show the Sportsnet feed.
Sounds like karma.
And Tigers swept the weekend series with the Orioles. You went to one of the games?
I went to the first of the doubleheader on Saturday, and it was fun. We had a good time and had pretty darn good seats. And
had
Tigers,
some $18 Comerica Park beer skis, overpriced.
Boy, yeah, they were expensive. They were expensive for just.
Don't
being,
look at your bank statement.
Dude, it was just Miller Lite. It wasn't anything fancy, and they were like, I think they were like $13. I think. Yeah, it was crazy, but it was fun. That's why you meet at MGM beforehand. You get a couple drinks there, you gamble a little bit, and then you go over to Comerica, and you only buy a couple when you're over there. But
Yeah.
it was a great game. Love to see the Tigers beat up on the Orioles, and for Sunday, 6 shutout innings for Skubal, 11 strikeouts, dominated.
Yeah.
So I love seeing it.
10-game road trip starting tonight, Monday for the Tigers. Monday through Wednesday at Houston. Thursday in the weekend, 4 games at L.A. To start it
That's
off.
Angels?
Angels.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I was going to say, I thought we were done with the Dodgers. And then I think next week or so, it's going to be against the Rockies, which those are going to be guaranteed wins. We're sweeping them. That is the worst team I've ever seen in my life, I think.
Other than the White Sox.
They might be worse than the White Sox, I'm saying it.
Really?
They're in Colorado and they can't hit. They're in Colorado in a place that they should be able to hit and they can't. Like, it's a real
So are
bad
you
team.
saying at Colorado next week, if we get a torque bomb, that is going to be a
Dude,
bomb?
it might be out of the stadium. Out of Coors Field. I almost can guarantee you.
All right. I'll take a bet then on a torque home run.
There you
Guarantee. Subscribe to JTV Sports. Check out our scoreboard. And thanks to the Insurance Circle Agency and Pataki Orthodontics. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. That's Adam. I'm David. And we will talk to you on Hump Day on Wednesday. So thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.